begin warm-up with Mr. Motriani for defense examining and Mr. Ordos for the plaintiff. To identify, I am Mr. Ordos for the plaintiff.
I am the witness.
I am the attorney for defense, Mr. Motrani.
So we'll begin at 1:40, reading in 17s, and then halfway through, I think it's actually at the 5-minute mark. Yes, we go up to 1:50, reading in 16s.
I'm sorry, what deference did you say we were doing?
We are doing D and E.
Just go along with that.
Okay, thank you.
D and E or D and E? D and E?
We're doing the bottom two,
That works. That's all
D.
we needed to hear.
and E.
It's like, I don't know.
I get that.
No, we're doing B and C on Friday. Okay.
D. Well, B and E sound really similar if you don't think,
D and E, yes, okay.
like. We're doing that today. Okay, I know it's later.
Okay,
I got it.
are we ready? That would be Mr. Motrani.
Oh, did we identify?
Oh, I
Yes,
thought
we did.
Oh, we did?
Oh. It was so long
Okay.
ago. We had a
Yeah.
little.
I don't remember.
Okay,
Okay,
well,
good, then
then
I'm doing that.
I am Mr. Ordos for the plaintiff.
I am the witness.
I am attorney for defense, Mr. Matroni. Okay, and it's Mr. Matroni questioning for the record. Okay, Mr. Green, I'm Adrian Matroni, and I represent your employer, Regional Transit, with regard to a workman's compensation claim that you filed against them. You did give the reporter your present address, but do you want to give it to her again so we'll have it on record?
916 Elk Grove Boulevard, Elk Grove, California, 95624.
Now, I'm sure your attorney has explained to you that even though this is taken in an attorney's office, this procedure is a formal legal procedure, and that you are sworn to tell the truth just as if you were before a court of law. Do you understand that?
Yes,
And that the questions and answers are made up in a book form, and that can be used later at trial for impeachment purposes or to comment should your testimony be different at a later date. So it's important that if you don't understand my question, that you have it clarified because we're making a record here. Do you understand that?
yes,
How long have you been employed by Regional Transit?
10 years, 11 months.
And how many days has it always been in the position of a bus driver?
Yes,
Now, you've alleged that you sustained an industrial injury on February 10th, 1994 on Highway 80. Is that correct?
yes,
Now, the application alleges that you were driving along Highway 80 when this occurred. Can you tell me exactly what it was that happened?
I was proceeding on Freeway 80 eastbound towards Roseville. I hit either a jarring bump in the freeway or a dip in the freeway.
What type of bump?
A jarring type bump or a dip, and it affected my back.
What type of bus were you driving?
Flexible.
And how old was the bus?
I don't know.
I don't want you to guess.
They have buses over there that are various ages, I assume. Was this one of the newer types or was this one of the older buses?
This is a newer type.
Do you have, for my edification, any estimate of approximately how old it would be?
You can give him your best estimate if you know.
1987.
Now, when you say it affected your back, can you tell me exactly how it affected your back?
I'm going to object to the question as calling for a medical conclusion.
No, it isn't, counsel. Let me rephrase. You claimed that at that time your back was affected. What I want to know was what you felt and what happened to you at that time as you can best describe it?
A great deal of pain.
All right, where was this pain?
Lower back,
Would that be approximately at the belt line?
below the belt line.
How far below the belt line?
A ways.
An inch or two?
You just have to give your best estimate if you have one.
I estimate a half an inch.
Did this pain come on suddenly?
Yes.
Did you feel any discomfort or pain in any other area other than a half an inch below the belt line?
No.
Now, I assume that you didn't leave the seat or fall out of the seat or anything. This is something that you experienced as you were driving.
I'm going to object to the question as phrased because leave the seat is a little vague. If you're asking if he physically got out of the seat, that's one thing. But he might have hit the bumper and been thrown up and down.
Do you understand the question?
I think so.
Can you answer it?
Would you repeat the question, please?
Well, were you driving along and apparently you hit a bump or a dip? Now, at that time, did you fall out of the seat?
No, I did not fall out of the seat.
All right, what happened to you physically other than the fact that you felt pain at the time you hit this bump or dip?
Sitting in the seat went up, these are air seats, and came down.
How far did it go up and come down, if you know? Or give me your best estimate.
I don't know.
Did you rise and fall with the seat, I assume? What did your body physically do when the seat went up? You went up.
These are air seats. The seat went up, and I was with the seat, and it came down with a thud.
In other words, your buttocks left the seat during the decline of the seat. Is that correct?
No.
All right, so your body was in contact with this seat during this motion you've described, the coming up and coming down.
Yes.
It wasn't a situation where you came up and your body was hanging there. The seat dropped and then your body dropped to it. In other words, is it correct that you rode up and down with the seat?
Yes.
What time did this happen?
AM.
Can you tell me what the hours of your run were on the day of this incident? Do you remember what time did you go to work and what time did you get off, in other words?
Can we go off the record for a second, please? I need to speak with my client outside for a moment. Thank you, counsel. We're ready now.
Can you answer that question now?
To the best of my recollection, I would say 6 a.m. to 10:30 a.m.
All right. And you were through for the day at 10:30?
No.
And then when would you be through for the day starting at 6 a.m.?
It was a split day run. I had another piece of work to do in the afternoon.
And again, the approximate hours as you remember them.
I'm going to object to the question because we haven't got to the point where we know whether he finished the day or not.
My question is well, let me ask you this. Did you complete the day's work?
No.
If you had completed the day's work, when were you scheduled to return to work and when would you have been finished?
I believe I returned to work at approximately 1 o'clock in the afternoon to 2:50 p.m.
Then in other words, if you had worked the normal day, you would have started around 6, go to 10:30, then you would have been off till 1, and you would have gone to 2:50, and that would have been the day.
That is the day, correct.
Now, on this particular day that this incident happened, did you work the entire day?
No.
What time did you work to?
10:30.
So I assume this, can you give me an estimate of what time this bump incident occurred between the 6 and 10:30 time slot.
6:10, I'm guessing.
All right, so by that, I assume you were on your first run. Did that initiate downtown?
No, it started in Roseville.
Okay, so you'd only been working a very short time when this incident happened.
Yes.
Now, did you report this incident to anyone?
Is there something you don't understand?
Yes, there is something I don't understand.
The question is, did you report on the day, which I understand is February 10th, did you report to anyone at RT the circumstances of this bumping or dipping?
No.
Did you call someone at RT and indicate to them that you would not be taking the afternoon shift?
Yes.
Do you know who you called?
Dispatcher.
Do you know who it happened to be that day?
No, I'm not sure.
I don't want you to guess, but when you say you're not sure, do you have some sort of a recollection of who it was?
No.
What did you tell this person?
I told this person that I was going off sick.
Was this a man?
This is to the best of my recollection. I cannot remember exactly what I said.
Was it a man or a woman dispatcher?
I don't recall.
All right. You said you completed the morning run, the 10:30.
Yes.
Where did that terminate?
27th and L.
So how did you report it? Did you go into the dispatcher or did you report it by radio?
I reported it by telephone.
After you had gotten off the run?
Yes.
Okay, the Kaiser records indicate that. Strike that. Did you go to Kaiser or did you seek any medical attention as a result of this incident?
Yes.
And when did you do that?
On that day.
Okay, what time? Was that after 10:30 run?
Yes.
All right, did you go into emergency or what did you do next?
I went to emergency.
Let's go back to the pain that you felt at the time of this bumping. You said you felt a great deal of pain. Could you describe for me in a little more detail the extent of that pain and your best description of
How I felt?
Yes, how you felt. Thank you very much.
Like getting hit in the back with a baseball bat.
In other words, I think you said it was a sudden pain.
Yes.
Did the intensity of that pain remain the same from its inception over some period of time, or did it change?
Do you understand the question?
No.
You've de-
Okay, now here's some warm-up that comes from the take material. We have Mr. Pollard for defense examining and Mr. Mann for the plaintiff. So to identify, I am Mr. Mann for the plaintiff.
I'm the witness.
I am the attorney for defense, Mr. Pollard.
So we'll read this in 16s, starting on line 10 with Mr. Mann in colloquy. You told him you were nervous
Yes.
and you wanted to talk to him about what was going to happen. Is that true?
Yes.
You told him that?
Yes.
And his response was what?
That it's routine and that people get nervous, and I was already there.
All right, the doctor said it's routine and that people get nervous.
Yes.
Did he say anything else to you?
No.
Did you ask him anything else?
No.
Was there anything else said when the doctor was in the room?
No.
Is it your testimony that the only exam he performed was a pelvic exam?
Right.
And how long was the doctor in the room?
Probably about 2 minutes, just long enough to do a manual exam.
And what happened next?
Then he left. and then the nurse came back in, and then she took me across the hall to the big room.
Now, when your nurse came back in, did you ask her any questions?
I just kept telling her I was nervous.
What did she say?
Nothing.
No response at all?
It's all right. You're okay. You know.
And did the nurse do anything other than come into the room and take you over to the operating room?
No,
Did she do any type of examination at all?
no.
So the next thing you do was you went over to the operating room.
Yes.
I'm going to show you Exhibit A and ask you to take a look at that if you would. Do you recognize that document?
No.
Is that your signature where it says patient signature, Rebecca Perry?
Yes.
Do you remember signing any consent form that appeared to say consent to an operation?
I remember signing something, but it wasn't this.
And I'm going to show you Exhibit B and let you look at that.
This is what they have you sign when they give you that Valium.
Exhibit B.
That's why you're signing.
The Exhibit B that you are looking at is a document you sign when they give you the Valium.
Right.
And do you recognize your signature on that document?
Yes.
And do you remember signing that document?
Yes.
Did you read it before you signed it?
Yes.
As an LVN, when you were working at St. Joseph's Hospital, were you ever involved in having patients sign consent forms before their surgeries?
No. LVNs couldn't do that. That was the RN's job.
Were you aware that before a patient could go to surgery, that it was required that they sign a consent form to the operation?
Yes.
When you went into the clinic, did you expect to have to sign a consent form to have the abortion performed?
Yes.
Now, do you have any recollection of signing any form which appeared to say consent to operation or consent to have abortion performed?
There was another one that I signed, but I don't remember signing this one.
Okay, you don't remember signing Exhibit A,
Right.
and you believe you signed some other form?
Yes.
What did that form look like?
It wasn't this one.
Was it a consent form of some kind?
Yeah.
Do you remember what was on that other form?
No.